China has long talked about reshaping the global order. Now it's taking tangible steps. On September 1st, President Xi hosted over 20 leaders at the 2025 Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, a bloc now covering half of the world's population and a quarter of global GDP. Xi pitched a system rejecting hegemonism and promoting multilateralism, especially for the global south. Among the attendees, Russia's Putin and India's Modi, both recently clashing with US policies. Just days later, China showcased missiles and drones in a massive parade, reinforcing both diplomacy and military might. Experts say countries frustrated with the US-led order are finding common ground through the SCO. But can this coalition, with its internal differences, truly offer an alternative?
This is a strange time when the unlikely of the bedfellows like India and China are now, going overtly comfortable with each other, which was not the scene until like 3 or 4 months ago. But I think it's because of the tariffs, which has brought all these countries that are against those tariffs and all the facing the wrath of the tariffs are now come together and kind of form a partnership. I think it is a message of cooperation and defiance against the U.S. policies, which can be seen by the rest of the world. That the emerging powers of the world are now coming together, and all of them, incidentally, are facing bad relations with the U.S. And if they are all coming together, that kind of shows that how U.S. excessive use of its force or maybe use of its policies and diplomacy can lead to even the most unlikeliest of the countries to come together and form partnership. China wants an alternative world order, whether you talk about culture, whether you talk about security, whether you talk about institutions, in every way, China is trying to build up structures that are contrary to what US has already established. So that is a kind of multilateral order he's talking about. Even if we say that it was a overwhelmingly big support that Xi Jinping received, I think he received the support from those countries which was like already against US. Despite their economic might, despite their political might or military power, they still want to be a part of the world order, which has been ignored by the US. I think that card has been played very heavily by China and Russia about global south. Looks like that after having this huge overwhelming support from the rest of the world, China sees that SCO can be the organization that can be headed by it and that can be used for agenda setting for the rest of the world. So now I think countries who are unhappy with the current economic and diplomatic and political world order would want it more beneficial to join SCO. Uh, it is too soon to say that if the SCO will deliver the promises it is making right now, but I think it's worth an effort to see that if China can build an alternate world order that has been promising. Definitely, West is not happy to see group of countries coming together and building alternative world order. I think US is definitely losing its game, and more it is trying to push these countries under sanctions, more these countries are getting compelled to come together, and which is a serious issue because the entire system of international relations is being rewired. So I think it's going to reshape the world in a big way, and that's the sad part is that's change and shifts is going to stay here. Like it's not that Trump will go away and the world will come back to normal. I don't think that's going to happen.
US actually should come out of their shell and think that, the countries like India, especially, I mean, and every other country with whom they have been friends for very long. Now they can't be very erratic in their friendship. Now, the countries like India, they have options and they are ready to explore the options. So yes, that should be of some concern. At least they should, if not concern, but at least they should rethink about their strategy in the recent past. SCO does offer an alternative in the sense that this is the time, this is a very opportune moment when actually all the countries have come together, especially of the global south, and they are actually thinking about certain common issues, whether it is terrorism, whether it is about technology sharing of information, And there are common concerns. Member countries of SCO, they have their own stands on various issues. So SCO as such, it gives us an opportunity to participate for common peace building and to develop certain initiatives which will be beneficial for everyone. I think this is a very good time when countries should use this particular platform for some positive peace building. They should, work together for the peace and stability in the region. I mean, this is the time when we should actually utilize this platform, which I think has been very long. That most of the times we have seen that certain multilateral platforms are formed, but when it comes to their effectiveness, they're not that effective because countries do not show that intent. India is open in the sense that India has not considered US as an adversary, or I mean as an enemy, right? But then India, as far, I mean, they might think that India is cozying up to China, but then I mean, they should. I mean, I mean, if US is actually coming up with certain actions, then there have to be certain reactions to that, and India has certainly done that. All the countries, they have their national interests and they have their own conflicts, and all the conflicts between the member states of SCO also. But then, in order, as I said, that any multilateral platform, and I mean, if we talk about SCO, can only be successful if we show some intent towards making it successful. That means we need to sort out our issues uh, in a collective manner. The only solution is diplomatic engagement. There is no other solution. Talks, diplomatic engagement, confidence building measures. These are the only solutions which will actually make SCO successful. Or else, as you said, that this diversity can also, go against it. To think in a very broader, I mean, we have to think in a long-term situation and not a very short-term thing. It has to be a long-term program, replacing the West-dominated world order, as they say. I think that now what China is trying to do is not exactly replacing it, but then also at the sidelines of it, they're also trying to build a new regional understanding where global South decides on things, where international relations, they are also seen from the perspective of the global South. Countries which are underdeveloped or countries which are developing. Global South is now ready to take things in its own hands and act accordingly. We live in a globalized world, and where everything is so much connected. We can't develop things in isolation. We have to collaborate. Uh, we have to work together. So replacement is not the thing, but yes, multipolar world order, right? Where the global South is coming up with its own issues, very specific issues, and they are giving solutions which are very specific to those issues. Trump's erratic behavior is not going to solve the issues. Now, the second thing is that China's victory parade, the show of might. Oh, yes, it was, the optics were quite strong. The message was very strong. Where you see like most of the media houses, they are focusing on how in the SCO meeting that Modi, Putin, and Xi, they were posing up to each other. So they said that these are mere optics, in the sense that India is also showing that we have options. It was definitely a show of might and strength and a very traditional understanding of power that we saw. But then again, India not being there, I personally feel that this is where, that's what India's foreign policy is. That let's not only rely on hard power to influence the world. Foreign policy being understood only in terms of war is again something which is very disturbing. I think that, the very masculinities which were, being shown off there, that was something which I guess, I mean, it's something that we also need to rethink about, that how you're going to actually, I mean, if we want to have peace and stability in the region, then other things also need to gain equal weight. I think that full throttle in the sense that now they should. rethink. They should actually contemplate now what has been done by Trump administration. And now, though some harm has been done, I guess, because it took long time for US, the diplomats, to build those relations with the countries, to build that trust factors with the countries, and suddenly everything breaks, snaps. So I guess now it's the time for US. Definitely now US will rethink about its strategy, right? I mean, it would be really, I mean, I don't know how, I mean, even if it is Trump, I guess President Trump is intelligent enough to understand the repercussions. He is a president. He must be, I mean, he should be intelligent enough that now, once what he has done, he has seen the repercussions. Now he should be intelligent enough not to repeat those things and to think of more innovative ways to build the relationships which he has destroyed. And especially, I mean, Indo Pacific, you antagonizing India, well, that's something which it's not very intelligent thing to do, I guess.
So, do you believe China is building a new world order that would provide an alternative to the Western dominance? One where the global south is heard and truly accommodated?